Hey, what up? What up, Harvey Wallbanger? Testing 1 2 3. Testing.
Hey, what up? What up, Harvey Wallbanger?
All right, it works. All right, just getting the pool started real quick. All right, what up, everyone? Hope you're all having a good. It's a Taco Tuesday. I actually just had some cereal though. I had some honey bunches of oats. But yeah, I gotta go to work pretty soon. But before I go to work, I figured let's see what's going on with it, and let's go seeing what's up. Let's see what's up with Donald Trump with this G7 summit meeting he had. So it looks like he met with like the president of United Emirates and Qatar. So first we'll check out this guy right here, the UAE Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. All right, this is titled President Trump takes questions after question from reporters on the Iran peace deal. So I'm going to be watching this for my first time, so figure I might as well YouTube live stream it to hang out with YouTubeville in case anyone else hasn't seen it or wants to watch it and discuss or whatnot. But yeah, we'll just watch it and react in real time to it, see what's cracking. I hope you guys are all having a good Tuesday. Please hit the like button. Thank you. Hey, what's up, Just Mona? All right, this is the beginning of it. See what happens.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. I just want to say His Highness is a warrior. He was in there fighting, and he does what has to be done, and he's known for it. He's a courageous man. He's got a great country. It's a fantastic country, and they've been with the United States for a long time, but I would say much more so since I came on board, I will say. And they've invested trillions of dollars in the United States. And I was telling them before in another meeting that we have over $19 trillion being invested in the United States, which is a record. And it's building factories, car plants, everything. We're doing things that have never been done. The record was $3 billion many years ago with a different country. And we're going to be over 19. I think we'll head to $19.3 trillion. So there's probably not going to be anything. Maybe we'll do better next year. I don't know if you can do better. But I just want to say that the relationship has been outstanding. He's a man of great respect. Everybody respects him, and they respect your country. And it's an honor to be with you. And we just signed a deal with Iran. And this country was very, very powerful.
Oh yeah, I think I was scrolling one day and I think I seen that. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
And good things are happening. The ships are starting to move now. We're going to have it fully open by Friday. The ships are starting to move nicely. Oil is starting to go, and the prices are coming down rapidly. Stock market is going up rapidly. A lot of good things are happening. And most importantly, Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. That was how I got involved in this. We can't let that happen. So they will not have a nuclear weapon. And other than that, I'd like to ask His Highness to say a few words. And if you want, we can take a couple of questions, please.
Well, it's really my pleasure, Mr. President, to be with you here. And I want to say that we are so grateful to have you here and as a President of the United States. And thank you for your support, your commitment, to your friend, to your allies, and special thank for your support during the 6-week war. It means a lot to us. And
Hey, what's up? What's up, Futaruchi guys? How's it going? What's up, Dwank? What's up, Dwank? What's up, Happy Accident?
you show us who's the real ally. And without your support, your commitment, Mr. President, not my country only, but the Middle East will be in a different part, a different situation today. So, really my pleasure to see you today, Mr. President. And thank you for giving us the time. And there's a lot of things we can talk about for going forward between our two countries, how we can make our relationship even better.
Well, thank you, my friend. See, when you're that rich, you can speak that low. I was just wondering, can anybody hear that? But when you're so rich, you have such confidence that you don't have to do any strain to the voice. It's great. So, do you have any questions for us?
What should we expect from the second stage of the negotiations?
It's a 60-day period or so. I think it's going to happen fairly on time. We've been both involved. I think they're going to want to get it done. Iran wants to get it done. They have to get back to business. And the relationship is now normalized. So I think it's going to go pretty quickly, Steve. Could go fast. Could take longer too, but it could go fast.
There's so much interest in the text of the document. Why not release the
Oh, I will.
Why not release it?
Well,
before
because
Friday?
I'd like to get a formal setting first before we do that. But I have no problem with that. It's a good document. Here's what it says. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. That's what it says. It won't have one. To buy, to develop, they will not have a nuclear weapon. And I would say that's about 99.9% of what I wanted. Because we couldn't let that happen. You couldn't let that happen. And they won't have a nuclear weapon. Now, in addition to that, the Strait is going to be open toll-free. And it's toll-free beyond the 60 days. It's not, somebody said, oh, it's toll-free for 60. No. It's toll-free, period. When it opens permanently, it'll be toll-free. I want to congratulate our Navy because the naval blockade was unbelievable. But I'll not only release it, I'll probably have a press.
He needs to talk about the $300 billion he spent to make it happen. And it's not even written in stone yet. Like, for the last 2 months, they've always said they reached some kind of a deal, and then it and then it just disintegrates.
And read it to you word by word so that the press covers it accurately. Because it's a very important document, and unlike Obama, who could have destroyed the Middle East with a horrible JCPOA, it is the worst agreement. That was a road
Oh yeah, the $300 billion.
nuclear weapon. Mine is a wall against a nuclear weapon. I mean, I see these people say, but we already had one. Those words, he paid a fortune for it. We paid nothing. We don't pay. There was some statement, we're going to spend $300 billion. No. We're allowed to go and invest if we wanted to someday.
What a liar. Liar, liar, pants on fire, orange man.
Future, we have no obligation whatsoever. It could be that Iran will turn out to be successful on they have oil. But if we left a week ago, just left, before the last two attacks, it would have taken them 20 years to rebuild Iran. So, but I'll go over the document with the media in a couple of days.
Mr. President, a few weeks back you said you'd like to see other nations join the Abraham Accords, much like the UAE has. Have there been any discussions with Arab leaders about that?
About what?
Joining the Abraham Accords like
Yeah.
the UAE has?
Well, I'd love to have them. This is a man who's very advanced. He was early in, and he's done very well with them. The Abraham Accords. Now it's. I think they should happen. The big impediment to the Abraham Accords. We have our original countries, very smart countries. Every one of them. Do you notice that even during that period of conflict, Nobody dropped out. Nobody said, "Oh, gee, I'm going to drop out." Nobody. I think they're all going to come in into the Abraham. But the only conflict was a place called Iran, and I understand that. It's a little bit tough when people were afraid of Iran. But I think they're going to all start coming in. Good question, actually.
Mr.
Okay.
President, what do you say to Republicans like Senator Lindsey Graham, who is skeptical of the MOU?
Lindsey is skeptical.
Yes.
I'll have to talk to Lindsey. He'll be in big trouble. Lindsey's good. Lindsey's fine. He's not skeptical. He's just fine. Look, this agreement covers something very nicely. We're not paying for anything. We're not doing anything. The markets now are higher than they were when we started. Remember that.
The way Trump talks about Lindsey Graham, he talks about Lindsey Graham like he's like his little puppet or something, which he is.
The stock market now is
Lindsey Graham's just another little Trump loyalist that has no spine.
2,500, maybe even more than that, points higher than it was when we said it's pretty amazing. Disagreements about one thing, that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Never, ever, ever. The rest of it's irrelevant, frankly.
Senator Graham also said that an eventual agreement with Iran should be sent to Congress for review. Would you do that?
I never thought of it, but I would. I wouldn't mind. I mean, the Democrats.
Hey, what's up, everyone? What's up, Futurucci? Just Mona, ADHD. What's up, Shadow, Brussel? What's up, Amber Leslie? How you doing, Amber? Amber says, I don't really care about his age. I know people around the age who are as sharp as ever. The problem with him is that he is not. Yeah, those are facts right there, Amber.
Democrats, because they're dumb people. The Democrats are, well, what I'd like to do is send it to Congress saying you shouldn't approve it, and I'll get it approved. Whatever I say, they want to do the opposite. It's not working too well for them, by the way. But yeah, I never thought about sending it, never even thought about it, but I will send it to Congress. I like the idea. I mean, who wouldn't approve it? Let's let them have a nuclear weapon. The Democrats will say, oh, they should have a nuclear weapon. They'll go crazy. I like the idea. Send it to Congress, please. All right.
Mr. President, were you briefed on the attack plans for the UFC event at the White House? There was, the FBI thwarted an attack.
I haven't heard about it, no. But I watched, the attack that I watched were the fighters. And he saw it too, by the way.
Yeah, the illegal clown show you did on the White House lawn over there with your bogus spectacle. Having some guy over there call Michelle Obama a man in front of the White House. What a disgrace you are to the country, Orange Man.
Sitting back home in his beautiful palace, and he was watching it, and they were as good a fights as I've ever seen. Right? The best. They were. But that last fight was brutal, and one of the fights, two fights. It was all good. It was.
Now the way you're destroying the White House is brutal, buddy.
It was very different for the White House, but I wish you could have been there. We built an incredible arena. Dana did a great job.
There's going to be another fight next year.
Well, I don't know. I got away with it. That goes 250 years. Maybe in another 50, maybe in 300.
Are you considering increase on sanctions on Russia and whether it's illegal?
Well,
He even had like the military do some kind of like standing ovation for these UFC fighters, which is illegal.
we'll be able to do that because the oil is now flowing. So we took sanctions off because obviously we're not looking to impede the oil. So we're in a position to do that soon.
Let them last.
Yeah, at some point.
Mr. President, I have a question.
Yes.
Regarding this.
What a nice looking person. Is he from your country? Is he from your country? No, he's got such a nice way about him. My people are so mean. The handsome guy can put him.
Be careful.
No, I can put him in a movie right now. Go ahead.
Mr. How can we make sure that Strait of Hormuz is lasting for open for lasting?
Ha! Narco Bubio's right there next to him.
In the future.
Have a United States with a strong president. It's the only way you can do it, I guess, when you think we have all the agreements you want. The agreements for bad people don't mean anything. Look, we were the ones that blockaded they blockaded it.
I haven't really seen JD Vance accompanying Trump to anything lately. Maybe they're having some kind of a lover's quarrel or something.
And we then said, well, we blockaded it for them so they didn't get any oil. You're going to need to have, and this is true with a lot of things, if you have a strong president of the United States, a lot of good things can happen. You know that better than anybody, right? You know it better than anybody.
So can you talk a little bit more about the plan for the enriched uranium that is in the mountains?
Yeah, we do. We'll take it.
Has Iran said they would welcome the U.S. coming in? How specific are they?
Iran will be just fine. What's happening is that at an appropriate time, there's no rush at all.
No, Trump. What's happening is you're robbing the American taxpayers blind, and you're committing treason to the country. That's what's happening, pal.
We have cameras from space on it. We know everybody that goes there, which is like nobody. The B-2 bombers hit it. The entire mountain collapsed inside it. It's a very tough excavation. Nobody else can do it but us and probably China. They have the equipment. We have the equipment. We're in no rush.
Yeah, that's crazy. What's up, Raccoon? That's hilarious. I never thought about that. Like the people that are hired to like do his makeup and hair. Man, imagine having that job. Oh my goodness. I'd rather go roof a house on like 100-degree day than do Trump's makeup.
But we get it, and when we get it, we'll destroy it.
Is that part?
We're not looking to take it, we're looking to destroy it. We have plenty of it.
So the Versailles dinner tomorrow night, what prompted you to go to that? The dinner tomorrow night in Versailles.
So, well, I'm a fan of beautiful places. And I was leaving in the afternoon, and then the French president, who happens to be a very nice man, invited me to dinner at Versailles. And Versailles is not a gold leaf. Versailles is the real deal. And I said, I'd like to do it. I mean, all it means is that I get home later in the evening, meaning early in the morning, and I'm not a big sleeper anyway. I'll be in the Oval Office I won't lose any time in the Oval Office. So I have to say this, our country is doing really well. We're doing better than we've ever done.
Yeah, Bibi and Putin probably have some, most likely, probably have some like major blackmail on this orange guy.
The stock market's the highest, everything's the highest. 401ks are the highest they've ever been by 25%. And we're doing really well. And now you're going to see prices coming in. When I took over, prices were very high. We had the worst inflation in the history of our country. Prices were high, eggs were high, bacon was high, everything was high. And the first question I got asked, what about affordability? I did a news conference one day after I took over.
Like these MAGA cult members' talking points, I've seen these clowns go out like debating people, saying some crap like, there can't be like two dads, it's like against the law, it's against God, you can't have like two dads. It's like, yo, MAGA cult member, I got some news for you. You got 3 communist dads. You got Bibi, Trump, and Putin.
And these people said, what about affordability? I said, I didn't cause it, but I'm bringing it down. And now with the fuel going way down, you saw yesterday it went down $6, $7. With fuel going down, as goes fuel, so goes everything. And I've always seen that, right? Fuel, you're in a very good business because as goes fuel, so goes everything. Fuel is dropping. It's now in the 70s per barrel. And I think we'll get it down. When I say, I was in Iowa and we had great victories in Iowa. And when I left, I noticed at a gas station, $1.85 a gallon. That's what we were. It's a little bit higher generally, but I saw 2 stations, $1.85, one had $1.91. And, we're going to get around those levels. Very honored. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, so that's so there's another meeting that Trump had with another dude. Let's go check that out. All right, this one right here. All right, so this one's what is this? All right. Yeah, I think this is the. All right, so this happened at that G7 summit as well. This one's titled President Trump holds a bilateral meeting with the Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, the Emir of Qatar. All right, let's go.
Thank you very much, everybody. We appreciate you being here. We've had a great meeting, we have a great relationship. The Emir is a fantastic man, respected all over the world. Prime Minister likewise. But we have to do the Emir first.
Wait, didn't this guy give Trump a personal Boeing jet?
But highly respected people, great people. And we work very well together. We have our deal done with Iran, and it should be successful. It goes to a second stage, which I think will be actually easier. I didn't want to attack them last week, but we had no choice. And we did it twice, actually. We were doing it a third time, and we were able to not have to do that. But we have a deal that's a fair deal, it's a good deal. We are not investing any money in Iran, by the way. That rumor got out there yesterday was ridiculous. We have the right to go in someday and do, if I want to do something, or somebody wants to do something, but we are not investing any money. We have no obligation to invest any money in Iran. Working with Qatar and the people of Qatar was really a pleasure. They were tough, they were strong. They are the closest to Iran physically. So with other countries, I noticed I had to travel about 45 minutes to get there. With you, you could walk right across the border. So you were in a more dangerous position. But I do have to say you fought and you helped us, and with great bravery. So I just want to compliment you on that. And you'll always be my friend.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. It's always a pleasure seeing you. I want to thank you for your leadership in this very, very important and critical time in the Middle East. I think, as you mentioned, Mr. President, this is a very important deal. There's still a lot of work to be done, but I think, with this momentum, if we continue like that, Mr. President, I think we can achieve and do great in the region. So it's going to be very important for the region, very important also for Iran as well. So we are here to help whenever friends ask us to help. We're always here to help. Of course, also our bilateral relationship, Mr. President. Since your historic visit to Doha last year, our trade partnership is going to reach $1.2 trillion. And this is huge. And we have a lot of great investments that we're very proud of as well in the US, and also American companies investing in products. So overall, we are very, very proud and very happy about this relationship. And I also once again thank you very much for your leadership. I think it was a very critical time, but I think you took the right decision.
Thank you to them. Qatar is going to be investing much more than $1 trillion in the United States. We have over 18. It's going to be 19.4 or so when the new figures out. But we set a record. There's never been anything like it. No country in history has had that kind of investment. We'll be having.
Yeah, $19 trillion, and he still can't come up with healthcare. I guess he's got like Trump RX, where he's gonna charge you. You gotta go through him for healthcare.
$19.2 trillion invested in the United States. The record was 10 years ago from another country when it was hot. We have the hottest country in the world right now. But
no, you're wrong, Trump. You're wrong again, buddy. Come this November with the midterms, once we take back the House and the Senate, yeah, we'll be the hottest country since Biden. So get your facts straight, pal.
Been a great investor. We really rekindled ourselves when I met with you last year, a year ago, probably 14 months. That was a good trip. And
It was
so
amazing last week, I think. I mean, yeah.
that was a great trip. And we established, we've been friends for a long time. We've known each other for a long time. We could
Hey, Brussel. Every time I glance at the chat, I see you right there. You're kind of annoying. I'll put you in a 10-second timeout. But I guess I'll answer one of your comments. Let's see here. So you're okay with Trump $19 trillion and not being able to provide health care? Yeah, good luck with that, buddy. Keep licking them orange nuts, pal. I'll give you a little 10-seconder just to erase all your bogus comments, but feel free to hang out and show your ignorance.
investing tremendous amounts of money in our country, and we appreciate that. Our country's we're building more factories, AI. We're leading AI by a lot. We're building automobile factories. We're building more than we've ever built in the history of our country. No country is ever doing what we're doing right now. No country has ever been able to do. And those factories will be opening over the next year and a half. Some are already open very soon. The pharmaceutical companies are coming back. The car companies are coming back from Germany, from Japan, from so many other places, Mexico and Canada. They're all coming back. We lost them foolishly years ago because the presidents that didn't really know what they were doing. They should have never lost. But they're all coming back in beautiful, brand new, gleaming factories. In fact, there are a couple of big old plants. And they said, are you going to use that plant? And they said, no, we're building brand new. They're knocking it down. Everything's built brand new, beautiful. It's jobs. And the auto business, we're going to bring back probably, we lost 57% of our automobile business. I think we're going to bring it mostly back. And for chips, we were the king of chips, and then it got stolen from us. We went from being the king to having basically no chip business. The CHIPS Act that was done by Biden was a disaster. Just a stupid thing to do. He handed billions and billions of dollars to people that they didn't build the factory. But we have a different system. We have a system that if they don't build, they get paid tariffs. They have to pay tariffs of upwards of 200%. They don't have to pay anything for a little while, but if they don't get their plant built, then we would have, I think, 50% of the chip industry by the time I leave office, so maybe more. They're building mostly coming out of Taiwan, but they're building in a lot of them, for whatever reason, in Arizona, Texas. But we'll have 50%, maybe more than that, of the chip industry. We're going to have.
Oh yeah, when they get swept out by the blue wave tsunami come this midterms, they're gonna try to blame Biden still.
We'll be making almost all of our pharmaceuticals, and likewise that. If they don't build, they'll have 150 to 200% tariff to pay. If they do build, they have no tariff to pay. So our country's never done anything like this. I want to mention Iran. We appreciate the relationship we've had over the short period of time with Iran. The primary thing is, we can talk about the Iran all day long. We're not investing any money. We have the right to if we want, but we're not investing any money. We didn't pay for it like Obama did. He paid billions of dollars. He paid one.
It really isn't like a left-right team, It's like that's what like these billionaires want everyone to believe, I mean, there is like the racist, pedo-protecting maggots, At this point, there's like no helping them. I don't know. They need some kind of like serious help for their disorder, but anyways. Yeah, it's like these billionaires don't care about any of us. I'm just all about calling out all the bullshit from these politicians, and it just so happens it's all the MAGA, the MAGA meat riders, politicians that are all the root of the problems right now. And they do that on purpose, because at the end of the day, they're just laughing all over the bank.
Airplane, all green.
Well, they got all their their cult members trying to figure out who's got what genitals.
Crazy. I watched that, I couldn't believe it. But the one thing that's happening that's of note, frankly, the only thing that really matters to me, is Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. And it says it loud and clear. They're not going to develop it, they're not going to buy it, they're not going to do anything with it. And if they do, they suffer unbelievable consequences. Not just a little bit like, I won't even tell you the consequences, but the consequences are the ultimate consequences. And with that being said, I hope we have a very good relationship. But the biggest thing is they will not have a nuclear weapon. And that's the reason I got in, and that's the reason I agreed to sign. And we originally had, Marco was with me, and they originally wrote that we will not develop a nuclear weapon. I said, no, you're not going to develop it, you're not going to buy either. So we have, that took another couple of days.
What's up, Truth Hurts? It's funny, anyone that has like the name Truth in their, in their handles, it's already an automatic, like they're a MAGA beat writer. But anyways, regardless, hope you're having a good day. And why I don't understand why people with like 6 teeth are defending people with 8 yachts.
Everything was, it's ridiculous, but so they will not develop, purchase, buy, or any other thing. They're not going to acquire a nuclear weapon. If they do, all hell will rain down on them. And they're not going to do that, Now, you talk about regime change. I never cared about regime change. It's never a part, but I guess you have regime change because you know better than anybody. The first group, they're all dead. The second group, they're dead. A part of the third group is gone. And we're dealing with people that I think are very rational people. And they were nice to deal with. They were strong people, smart people. I think actually they're smarter than the first and second group. But they're not radicalized, and they're, looking to help their country. So, again, I don't believe the regime change. I've watched regime changes for years. They never work. It has to just happen.
Hey, what's up, Rachel? Yeah, exactly. He should have just kept the Obama deal. We were already winning with the Obama deal, and then Trump just came in and made everything worse. Now we're all paying higher groceries, higher gas, just everything.
This is a country where the Emir is so respected, and the Prime Minister is so respected by the people, and that's the way a country should run. It should run out of respect, not of fear. As you know, at least 42,000 protesters were killed in Iran. They were protesting. The wrestler, they had the big event at the White House the other day, UFC, and they were all talking about he was a great fighter. And he was hung with his 2 friends because he spoke something about their regime and stuff. So we're very happy that we're involved. We're very, very impressed with Qatar and the way they've handled things. Because they were really on the line. They were on the front line. They were being shot at just about as much as anybody, but you were a lot closer. You were right there. Literally, I could walk in about every other place I have to take a plane, but I could walk. So they were really on the line. And I just want to comment that I just want to really congratulate you for bravery. I don't know if you get congratulated for bravery, because bravery is something you either have or you don't, and you never know until you test it. But you were tested, and you had great bravery. Thank you very much.
Are you going to have a separate meeting with President Zelensky? And what would the Ukraine deal look like?
Well, we had one, but we had a good meeting. I'm meeting him later on today. We had a very good meeting.
Yeah, Trump doesn't care about Ukraine because Trump's a Putin meat writer. Trump rolled out the red carpet for Putin.
Russia should make a deal. Russia's lost tremendous amounts of people, and so is Ukraine. Last month, they lost 35.
Trump also lifted oil sanctions off of Russia.
And so it's between the two. is on a monthly basis, they average 25,000 people, mostly soldiers, young, beautiful people. And it's crazy what's going on there, but we had a meeting, and we'll see how. I spoke with President Putin on Sunday. And it's sort of the same thing. I mean, they just keep going, fighting, losing soldiers. They lose so many soldiers. This is not since World War II has anything like this. I settled 8 wars. This was the one I thought was going to be the easiest settle. They just.
You gotta be kidding me with this guy. He's trying to compare himself like he just like had a victory like world like equivalent to like World War II. This guy's out of his mind.
There's a lot of dislike between the two leaders, but yeah, I'm meeting with him again later on today.
Are you gonna have a special focus on Ukraine?
We're gonna look. Now we're focused on Iran. That's gonna be in the back, in the rear view mirror. But we have nothing to do with it. We sell weapons to them. We don't even give them. Obama gave $350 billion worth of what gave, which was crazy. The European Union pays us full price for weapons. But it's not that. It has no impact on us other than we sell weapons. We're thousands of miles away. But the only reason I don't like to see 25,000 young people die every month. Every month, 25,000 people die. Young people, they're just starting their life. They go to this front and they get blown up. And Ukraine is losing a lot of people too. I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous. So, I'm going to do whatever I can.
Mr. President, the Iranian regime continues to kill their own people. Will you still put out this?
If they're used to what would it do?
If they continue to kill their own people, the Iranian.
Well, we talked to them about it, and we see. I will say the majority of that took place.
I'm gonna have to wait for the new Lego video drop to get the truth. Patiently waiting for the new Lego video drop.
Second regimes, much more so than that. It was much more severe, but it's a terrible thing. Yeah, do you have a question?
Yes, Mr. President. This is for both you and the mayor. What are the economic opportunities for Iran if there's, continued cooperation with the United States moving forward?
Well, I think they'd be good. I mean, I can tell you from our standpoint, we have a lot of opportunities all over the world. But the Emir lives right next door, and I think, they have a lot of oil. I think they'll be good. First, they're going to have to prove themselves, I think, before any of us go in there. But I hope they do well. Look, one thing, whether they do well or poorly, they can't have a nuclear weapon. That's a big thing. If they had a nuclear weapon, they would have blown up Israel, they would have blown up the Middle East, and they probably would have taken a shot at us. We would have gotten it first, I think. But they would have done tremendous damage. Had we not canceled the Obama.
Hey, what's up, Chuck the Bull? Chuck the Bull says Hollywood CIA sold you all on the Russian evil narrative because they need you to be scared of the ultimate boogeyman. Yeah, good comment. I'm not going to argue that comment. Makes a lot of sense, though.
Nuclear deal, the JCPOA, you would have had them having a nuclear weapon 5 years ago. That expired. That was a road to a nuclear weapon. It was the dumbest deal I've ever seen, other than NAFTA. NAFTA maybe was even dumber. But just in terms of a bad deal for us. We paid them billions and billions of dollars. We paid nothing. We paid them billions of dollars. And it was a disaster. I terminated that in my first term. And I not terminated, and we hit them hard. We terminated it. My second term, we sent in the B-2 bombers, and we terminated I call it the nuclear test, their enriched material. And totally effectively. And I remember when CNN, which is fake news, I don't know, it probably isn't, but CNN said, well, maybe it wasn't that effective. So the Atomic Energy just reported that it was one of the most devastating bombings that they've ever seen. The whole mountain collapsed on top of it. And frankly, to go get it, we're going to go get it. But to go get it is a big deal. because they say only China and us have the equipment where you can even get, the whole mountain is collapsed on top. We have cameras on it. You could make the case why are you even bothering, because it's not really valuable. It's, you know, it's probably $500,000. It's not very valuable stuff, but I think psychologically we want to get it.
Can I just answer you, Austin? I think in the last couple of months or weeks, I think that was we were not interested in, you know, what are the opportunities, economic opportunities in Iran. Our interest, both of us, was to, first of all, to find a deal to stop this war. This is our main target. But looking at the economy and the opportunity, I'm sure there can be huge opportunities. And, you know, as long as I said, this is a very important momentum to keep working like that to reach us a final deal. Up to that, Iran will be, you know, of course, open for any kind of investments, and I'm sure there are going to be huge opportunities. But to be honest, you know, we never thought of it. You know, our target, you know, is to try to find a deal.
Well, they're going to need something because we blew them up, and you know, you could make the case. I used to make the case that, like a week ago, I said. Now it's different. We have an agreement, but if we left, we did a great job. If we just left, we did a great job, because it would take them 15, 20 years maybe to rebuild. And we were going to do a much bigger job if the agreement wasn't signed. We would have taken it to a level. And if we did that, they would never, ever, I believe, be able to rebuild. Too much.
Mr. President, what are the expectations for Israel? Can this deal survive if Israel attacks Lebanon?
It can, and you know, I consider that the minor war. Iran's a big one, but we have that a little pinprick out there that constantly rears its head, and that's Hezbollah. And you know, I was very responsible for Syria, and the man that's running Syria now is a person that I put there along with President Erdogan and some others. He's done an amazing job of pulling it together. He's not a Boy Scout, but he's done an amazing job of pulling it together. And he is very good with Hezbollah, does not like them. And I'll tell you what, Israel's fighting Hezbollah too long, and too many people are being killed. And you don't have to knock down an apartment house every time you're looking for somebody, because there are a lot of people in those apartment houses.
I forget what the channel's called. I think it's called like NRT Media, but they got a lot of this like vintage, kind of like raw, uncut footage, you know, of like just historical, you know, times, you know, in journalism from like the 60s, 70s, and 80s, you know, particularly like various wars. But they had a documentary from like, I think it was like 1982, or it wasn't even a documentary. It was kind of like the 80s version of live streaming. You know, some dude was just, you know, journalist was just out there with the camera, just going around recording everything, you know. But you know, the videos out there, you know, just unedited, raw, uncut on there. But yeah, it was. They were talking about like the Strait of Hormuz back then. They were talking about how vital it is.
Well, Hezbollah, that I can tell you. And I suggested to Israel to let Syria take care of Hezbollah. Because to be honest with you, I think they do a better job of doing it. And I didn't like Syria. I didn't like where 2 hours before we're signing the agreement that
Hey, what's up,
there
Joanne?
was an attack in Lebanon, in Beirut. It wasn't like in the southern side, and you know, it was in Beirut. I did not like that. I let them know that. I didn't like it, not at all. But I think that Syria, he's pulled that country together amazingly quickly. He's very capable. And he's been very good for me. He's protected everything that I've asked for, he's done. And if Israel can't do the job without killing everyone else, he'll do the job. Syria will do the job.
Are you frustrated with Netanyahu, sir?
No, we had a great relationship. We're talking about some end details. I didn't like that he did an attack based on there's a very minor little.
He's doing the accordion hands. That means he's telling some super duper lies. Whenever you see the accordion hands, like he always lies, but whenever the accordion hands bring out the super duper lies.
Drones that were released, and he ends up doing a very. I saw that attack. I saw where that bomb went. Did you see what happened? That was a vicious. That was too much. You know, you can do too much also. But we've had a very effective relationship. Without us, without the United States, there would be no Israel. Without me, there would be no Israel, because no other president was willing to do what I did. I've had a great relationship with Bibi, but now Bibi has to be more responsible with respect to Lebanon. Lebanon used to be a great country. It was a country where you had professors, doctors, lawyers. The great intellect was in Lebanon. Now it's terrible. I would say of all countries, they've been treated the worst. And they can't defend themselves. And they have Hezbollah, which is a problem for them. So now I'm not happy with the way Israel has handled themselves with Lebanon and with Hezbollah. They should have been able to do the job faster. It just goes on forever. And when that happens, it throws a negative light on the big deal, and that's the deal with Iran. So when you ask me about Bibi, an unbelievable relationship.
So I guess he's okay with Bibi's genocide of the Palestinian people.
It would have been blown up a long time ago had I not gotten involved. Two things I did. I terminated the Iran nuclear deal. Barack Hussein Obama sold out Israel for Iran. He went to Iran. He sold them out. Now anybody can vote for this guy or the party. The Democrats, I call them, because they're dumb. They're dumb people. That's number one. How anybody can vote for them. And the second was the B-2 bombers, just totally just so they.
Oh yeah, I saw on the news yesterday that a B-52 flying fortress crashed outside of Edwards Air Force Base yesterday. R.I.P. to all the people that were on board, because I don't think anyone survived that.
They're the JCPOA. I watch these politicians. I watched Senator Reid that nobody ever heard of the other day. Well, this deal is the same as the deal with Barack Obama. No. This deal is a wall to a nuclear weapon. His deal was a road to a nuclear weapon. My deal, they can't have a nuclear. They get blown up. If they have a nuclear weapon, they get blown up. In his deal, they were allowed to have a nuclear weapon. And in all fairness to Bibi, I remember very well, Bibi came to Washington and he begged Obama not to make that deal. And Obama was on the side of Iran, not Israel. And he made the deal. That deal was a disaster. I terminated that deal. And if I didn't terminate, and it was very tough after the termination, and if I didn't do that, Howard knows better than anybody, if I didn't terminate that deal, I believe that Israel wouldn't be here right now. And the second one was what we did with respect to the nuclear dust, as I call it, right? We blew it up. The mountain collapsed on top. You can't get to it. And they were 2 weeks away from having a nuclear weapon. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they would have used it on Israel, and I hate to say it, and probably the rest of the Middle East, because they had all those missiles aimed at the Emir, at Saudi Arabia, at UAE, at Kuwait, at Bahrain. I mean, the biggest surprise in this whole thing, I didn't think you guys would. I thought he would aim at Israel, but he didn't aim at Israel. He aimed at your countries. And actually, that was a mistake for them, because it brought us, these countries, in particular the 5 countries, it brought us, I mean, he even hit Turkey once.
Yo, what up, everyone? Hope you're all having a good Tuesday. Thanks for hanging out and sharing your comments. What's up, Harvey Wallbanger? Says, under the new contract, Iran is getting $1 billion a day for, sorry, we listened to Bibi and messed up the country. Thanks for the comment. What's up, DV? What's up, Jay? What's up, Zach, Allison, Sean, Chief, the country philosopher, Biff, just Mona, what's happening? Yeah, just getting through these Trump meetings that he's doing at the G7 summit that have been released. This one's just has like less than a minute left, so we'll write it out, and then after this we'll play a real man. His name's Barack Obama. So Barack Obama and Michelle Obama made some kind of announcement, so we'll check that out.
And nobody's going to understand it. That's the problem. They're totally irrational people. And those people are now gone. And I think Iran has rational leadership now. But you wouldn't have, if it weren't for the United States of America, with me, because Obama was the opposite, Israel would not exist right now. Israel would have been blown off the face of the earth, 100%. And every smart person in Israel knows that. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, more lies from the liar in chief. All right, let's go. Let's get back to some rhyme and some reason over here. Let's go see what's up with Barack Obama.
To us.
All right, so this is Obama. This came out today. So this is Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. This is titled Barack and Michelle Obama speak at presidential center event. Let's see if he calls out Trump. I'm watching this for my first time, so let's see what happens.
Hey, everybody. What's going on?
So MAGA cult members are always wondering what a woman is. Well, there you have it, folks. There's a real woman right there, Michelle Obama.
This is a nice project you guys were involved in. Way to go, team. Thank you. Thank you for everything you all have done to create what is a magical place. I have been on this site during construction, but because of my schedule, the first time I toured the finished museum was Friday. And to say that it left me emotional and speechless, even though I knew what the plans were and knew what the background was, to walk into that space and to see the amount of professionalism and artistry and love and care that has gone into creating what I hope will be a center that really changes the trajectory of the people, especially the young people who grew up in this community that I call home. The South Side of Chicago is my home. Every inch of this neighborhood. And to be able
to I love it whenever I play like it's always like let's see here, like Ilhan Omar or like Mark Kelly or Michelle Obama or Gavin Newsom. Whenever those guys start playing, I swear all the MAGA cult members just come out of the woodworks. Like all the MAGA cult members have to, all the MAGA cult lurkers have to come out of the woodworks to share their 2 cents.
out across and see the South Side of Chicago, to see the beauty of our parks, to finally be able to see that there's a lagoon over there that is safe to walk in, where children are playing and couples are holding hands. That Chicago wasn't available to me my entire life. It was not available. It was closed down. It was boarded off. It was uncared for. It wasn't invested in. And the message to me and to kids like me is that we weren't worth investing in. So that in order for us to have access to beautiful parks and art and museum, we had to get on a bus or a train or hope that our parents could afford to pay for parking downtown to go into spaces that sometimes treated us like we didn't belong. And now we have this, and we have that too. But I think the OPC will be the beginning of telling the kids in this community that they are just as important, just as capable, just as valuable. And what so I hope that when you think about this project and all.
Oh yeah, Michelle Obama. Yeah. Let's see here. So Melania Trump couldn't even hold Michelle Obama's quote unquote jockstrap, yo.
All contributed to making it happen, that you know that this beautiful campus is going to change lives. And I hope you feel really, really good about it. And I am so proud of my husband.
And lastly, one more thing. Melania Trump is an escort. And the crowd goes wild.
He's really messed up. I'm giving him some time because this beautiful skirt that my stylist Meredith Coop picked out, that is a portrait, my favorite portrait of my mom. He didn't know it existed until just a few minutes ago. And I've had a few weeks to settle down in the beauty of this skirt, but it's messing him up for good reason.
Yeah, that's an awesome skirt she's wearing. That custom skirt must have that's handcrafted right there.
Marion would have been so proud. She was so proud of her son-in-law, and the man that he is and has been to our family. Always dreaming probably way too big.
Look at the difference between the Obamas and the Trumps. Michelle Obama holds his hand. Melania Trump has to stay away from Trump because his diaper stinks too bad.
But always pulling it off. Thank you for doing this for the South Side of Chicago. I love you.
Hello, Chicago. Southside. Oh, sorry. So I'm stealing a few lines from what I'm going to say at the actual opening.
So you don't have to come.
So you don't, or at least you can mute it until Michelle talks.
Watch out, guys! Watch out, guys! We got Junebug going to the feelings police.
So I actually came to Chicago right there. I've been hired to organize on the South Side by some churches. I was coming from New York, bought a janky old car, stuffed it with all my stuff, drove through Pennsylvania, Ohio, took the 90 all the way, got to the Skyway, and came down the Skyway onto Stony, and then was directed through this park.
I don't know. I think Junebug might be reporting his Trump devotion syndrome to Dr. Oz. Who knows?
4-lane highway, Cornell Drive, right there. I was 25 years old, and I knew I wanted to do something meaningful with my life, and I knew I wanted to be involved in the community, and I wanted to help uplift, folks who had been forgotten. And I didn't quite know how I was going to do that, but this community embraced me and gave me a chance. And I grew up here, and I met the love of my life here, and my daughters were born here.
Oh man, if Obama and Trump were to run against each other in 2028, Obama would smoke Trump. He would cook and roast them in the pools. Trump wouldn't stand a chance.
And I represented this district, and I announced my first candidacy at the Ramada Inn on Lakeshore Drive. And my office was on 71st, and I taught law at the University of Chicago right down the Midway. And our first home was over in Eastview Park. You can walk from here. And most of what has been most important in my life is because of this place and the people here, because the people here taught me resilience and courage and hope. And so when I went to Washington, and then when we started campaigning around the country, I was carrying a piece of this community with me the entire time, all through the White House, my entire 8 years. So for us to be able to situate all those lessons learned, all the values that we tried to project and embody during the 8 years we were in office together, for us to be able to give that to this community is really important to us. And that couldn't have happened without the dedication and professionalism and effort and headaches and problem solving and talent and artistry and skill of the people here today. So it is with deep gratitude that I stand here today. You know, just appreciate everything that all of you have done to help make this possible. I am a little shaken up by this because I love my mother-in-law, and she made a home for Michelle and Craig, not with a lot, but with a lot of love and hope and perspective and wisdom. And her husband, Fraser Robinson, who got up every day and went down to right next to Navy Pier, working as a, in the water reclamation district. He showed what it means to work hard and to put family first. And so they represent to me what's best about this country and what's best about our values. And there are people who aren't trying to get every last nickel and aren't cutting corners when it comes to values and treat people.
He's talking about Trump right now, I bet.
High and low with respect and
I gotta rewind that a couple seconds. Sorry, guys.
There are people who aren't trying to get every last nickel and aren't cutting corners when it comes to values and treat people high and low with respect and kindness and handle their business. Just salt of the earth, bedrock people. And there are people like that all across the south side of Chicago. And there are people like that all across this great country of ours. and their voices are not heard because we've got a set of institutions that have fallen victim to the siren song of everything's about money and everything's about attention and everything's about fame and everything's about getting over. But meanwhile, there are just a lot of people out here who are just doing the right thing and raising their families and taking care of people. And so it's fitting that she's with us here today, because part of what we want this center to be is a reminder of those people. And to make sure this country is true to their spirit. Because if we do that, then I think we're going to be okay. And I want our kids to be reminded of that, and our grandkids. And 50 years from now, I want people to remember that's what we should be about.
Hey, David Byrne. I tried to read your comment, but it sounds like you're the one that took one too many shots, buddy. Doesn't make any sense.
So, thank you. Appreciate you. Enjoy the celebration. Bring your family, bring your friends. Mark with pride what you've accomplished. Thank you, everybody. God bless you.
All right, there's a real president right there, Obama, bringing some rhyme and some reason. All right, let's go check out. Some other stuff that happened today. You guys want to watch? It looks like Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris made some moves today. Who do you guys want to watch? You guys want to watch Hillary, or do you guys want to watch Kamala? Or neither? Because I got some other stuff in the queue. We got Raphael Warnock. I like Warnock. That guy made a good. It looks like he made a speech from the Senate floor. Let's check out Warnock real quick.
109 days.
All right. This was from Capitol Hill today. This is titled Raphael Warnock Decides Failed War with Iran. Introduces another war powers resolution.
Georgia.
Madam President, I rise today to ask a simple question. After 109 days of a failed war, and now a fragile, temporary, but welcome truce, will my Republican colleagues choose today to finally stand up to this president? Will my colleagues say enough is enough to the president who ran as a candidate promising no new wars?
All right, we'll play Kamala and Hillary next, but we'll play Hillary first.
109 days of contradictory messaging, rampant and rank corruption, with people literally cashing in on news about this war, and devastating news stories from the Middle East. Will this be the vote when my colleagues finally stand up for their constituents rather than simply standing up for Donald Trump? Here we are, tens of billions, if not hundreds of billions of American taxpayer dollars spent. Gas prices are well over $4 a gallon. Hardworking American families crushed under tens of billions of dollars in soaring energy prices and inflation driven by this unnecessary war. And the ultimate price, 13 service members tragically killed. The question is, where did all of that land us? What did it accomplish? And it appears that we are basically back at the status quo at best.
Let me start by saying that I'm very proud of our military. That's not the question here. We
Yeah, the only thing it accomplished was making Trump richer,
have the most powerful,
and thus common folks struggle more.
most effective military force in human history. The problem is that the president has decided to use that military force and significantly deplete our defense arsenal for his own pet projects. He decided to launch an attack on Iran to decapitate the brutal leadership of an awful regime, but he had no plans for what he would do the next day. The next day. And so today the regime is still in place with younger and potentially more hardline and radical leadership. So even now, with the war hopefully coming to an end, I still don't understand why we were in this war in the first place. It appears that the only thing this war has done is put service members' lives at risk, Americans in the region at risk. It has undermined our global standing, millions of civilians in harm's way. And so we pray for the families of the brave Americans who have already paid the ultimate sacrifice, our service members who are the best among us and who go no matter who the president is or what their politics are. They were simply following orders. Our service members embody courage and patriotism. They put it on the line for us. And I submit that they deserve better than this. We've learned, due in part to recent history, that it's easier to get into a war than it is to get out. The president said on multiple occasions, quote, "It will all work out well in the end." It always does. Maybe it always does for him. But we're sending brave American service members into battle, and they return with visible and invisible wounds of war. This is something not to be handled in a cavalier manner. It is the most sacred responsibility of an American president. And so I promised the people of Georgia that I would walk with them even as I work for them.
Oh yeah, we took back Georgia. We got John Ossoff holding down the fort, and we got Texas with Tallarico.
I have listened to agonizing stories of war from veterans whose lives will never be the same. I've stood at Dover Air Force Base to receive the bodies of Georgia's heroes. I've looked into the grief-stricken eyes of their family members as they greeted a flag-draped coffin, grappling with unbearable grief. It is gut-wrenching, and it is something that I think about whenever we consider the consequences of sending our service members into harm's way. The question is, did the president think about it? Did he think about those families? Even as he said, it will all just work out. It always does. I'm hopeful that this war may come to an end beginning this week. But let's be clear. This temporary truce agreement with Iran brings us back to the status quo at best. Let's not forget that the President of the United States, in deciding to launch this war, created a situation in which we lost our service members. We continue to grieve the dozens of fathers in Iran who will be without their school-aged daughters on Father's Day. as an elementary school in Manab was attacked on the first day, or a bomb was dropped on that school the first day. A horrific mistake with huge human consequences. And this was on day one of the war. Young children who didn't get a chance to grow up. Hundreds of dreams that will never be realized. Those Iranian babies are human beings. They too are children of God. And so this kind of consequential action requires much more thought.
Yeah, and I'm sure the Trump Bible is much better.
A much more serious-minded administration than what we have seen over the last year and a half. And so I hope that we are seeing the beginning of the end of this war. But we paid a huge cost. And I'm not so sure what we're getting for that. But the question before this body is, will this president do this again? I think the answer is yes. He will continue to choose bombs over diplomacy because he is a failed warmonger. And that's why I'm urging my colleagues to speak up in this moral moment. Send a message that the president should not feel that he can easily and so cavalierly use American might while Congress stands idly by. The time is always right to do what's right. I urge my colleagues to do what your constituents are begging you to do and join me in putting a check on this president's lawless warmongering. Warmongering that has upended the global economy.
This guy's speaking some facts right here.
Sent gas prices soaring. The Strait of Hormuz is closed. Iran perhaps seems even more emboldened to try it again. And what is the plan to ensure Iran never obtains a nuclear weapon, with Iran going into this truce with all of its enriched uranium? We had a deal. Donald Trump chose war over diplomacy. Hopefully this Congress will stand up and do its job. The time is always right to do what's right. That time is now. I yield the floor. Pursuant to 50 USC 154.
Yeah, that guy kind of lost me though. He did a little. I caught him in his little double speak right now. He was saying something like, "If Iran feels so emboldened to do it again," it's like, yo, it was us, the United States, that were emboldened to do it in the first place. Or Donald Trump, rather, with his illegal war.
And in accordance with Section 601B of the International Security Assistance and Arms Export Control Act, I move to discharge the Committee on Foreign Relations from further consideration of SJ Res 172.
All right, let's go check out. Let's go see what's up with the.
Georgia.
Let's go see what's up with the homegirl Hillary Clinton. Let's go see what Hillary Clinton has to say. Or first, actually, you know what? Let's see Kamala Harris, because this video is shorter.
Okay.
Or nah, let's do Hillary. Yeah. Oops. Yeah, let's see what's up with Hillary.
Achievable goals.
All right, so this came out yesterday. It looks like. This is kind of long. I don't know how far I'll make it into it, but it's pretty hot out there, so I'm gonna hang out until it cools down. Anyways, making a coffee right now. It's weird. I like to drink like hot coffee on a hot day. I've never really been one to drink cold coffee. All right, here we go. So this is actually, this just came out 5 hours ago. This is titled Hillary Clinton discusses Trump, Biden's 2024 decision, and more.
I am so tired of getting standing ovations every time I walk in a room. It's really tiresome.
That guy's got jokes.
Oh, hi. Thank you for doing this.
Oh, thank you so much, David.
Secretary Clinton, in your book, Something Lost, Something Gained, you write about your state of mind after the re-election of Donald Trump. You describe yourself as someone who remains an optimist that worries a lot. Now, we all worry, but I want to grasp the extent of your agony. And I want to begin with a big question. Does Donald Trump and Trumpism represent a real and sustained era of authoritarianism in this country?
Well, first, David, thank you for doing this with me. And it's always great to be here at the 92nd Street Y. So thanks, everybody, for gathering. And I really believe that he does represent the threat of authoritarianism, and the people who enable him, who support him, who follow him, have clearly decided that his kind of performance politics, his deliberate cruelty and behavior that has never been seen by any of us in an American president before is exactly what they want to see for the country. Now, the good news is his favorability is in, the mid-30s. People who had supported him, not because he was a wannabe authoritarian, but because he promised to lower prices and create a better future for people and their families. They've seen the reality. It doesn't match the rhetoric. And so they have moved away from him, but he is doubling down. He's double.
Oh yeah. Like 70% of the MAGA supporters from last year, they're all burning their red hats and trading them in for frog costumes. They finally got over their Stockholm syndrome and they saw him for what he is, just a fraudster and a con man.
Down on his impulsiveness, and it's very worrisome to me because I'll end with this. I teach at Columbia University now, of course, with the dean there. She and I have been on this stage together. It's called Inside the Situation Room. And we talk about the traits of leaders, their behavior, their psychology. And there is a view that is rooted in how
she's psychoanalyzing the MAGA cult members right now.
people make decisions, all of us, not just leaders, about what happens when someone finds themselves in what's called the domain of loss. It's a psychological concept. And almost counterintuitively, when people feel they are losing,
that's what MAGA cult members have, the domain of loss.
They very frequently take greater risks. They double down on their behavior. And that's what I'm now worried about, because he's lashing out. He's demanding that we accept his version of reality, which is unhinged from the actual world that we live in and the actual consequences of his actions. So I think we have to be extremely vigilant and just, ready to push back every chance we get.
You've been a New Yorker for a long time. You were around when Donald Trump was not a politician. You would see him here and there in New York City. At what point did you begin to see him as something other than a kind of figure in the jokosphere, the Spy magazine aspect of New York City, and sense him as a political danger?
Probably when he began to lead a movement questioning Barack Obama's birthright citizenship. And before then, I was not aware. I hadn't read Art of the Deal. I hadn't followed some of his public utterances. You know, he allegedly told.
Hey, healing through energy. How could you have a name like that and do a comment like that at the same time? It doesn't make any sense. I think you need to change your handle or your thought process, one of the two. Or change your name to like hating through energy, maybe.
The man who helped him or wrote The Art of the Deal, the only book he had on his bedside was Mein Kampf. I did not know that.
Big seller.
That's right. And he also he ran full page ads accusing Ronald Reagan of weakness. So there had been a few eruptions, and I was on.
Epstein started the whole MAGA movement. Epstein's MAGA cult member's daddy.
Where I kind of viewed him as, you know, exactly the sort of figure you described. But when he began to do the big lie about first Senator Obama, then President Obama, that's when I began to pay attention and wondering what's really behind this. Why is he doing this? And so relentlessly, it didn't matter. And I remember talking to President Obama about it. And, you know, President Obama, like so many of us, is like, who cares? You know, just I'm not going to respond to that. And what we have learned is how important it is to respond. It used to be you could ignore that kind of, you know, outlandish claim, and it wouldn't, last for long. But with the internet, it lives forever. And so he began to demonstrate his understanding of the new information ecosystem that we're in.
How has your understanding of his support evolved? You were criticized a lot, like probably rightly, for using the word deplorables for many of his followers. But how do you view the evolution of his followers and what it is that they...
Well, Trump had Stormy Daniels.
Want most of all from him?
Well, first of all, I said only about half were. So to be fair,
well, are you doubling down on deplorables?
But I have to say, I gave a speech, for example, about something called the alt-right, which, the press had no idea what I was talking about. Certainly the public had no idea what I was talking about. But, I was beginning to see this really disturbing rhetoric, racist rhetoric, sexist rhetoric, the kind of authoritarian, demagogic claims about our politics. And it worried me. So, I tried to kind of put that into the political debate, but I also did try to, draw a line between those who were following him because of that. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a bug, it was the feature. They wanted to follow someone who was, demeaning President Obama, was, making claims about me, saying things like, the Second Amendment, people will take care of her. I mean, terrible things that were in that campaign against me. And people didn't take it seriously. People were like, oh, that's just Donald. He's just spouting off. Don't worry about it. I saw something darker, but, I was in not the strongest position since I was running against him to make that case. So I was trying to say, look, I understand there are people who believe that kind of stuff, but most of the people, at least half, who are, following him, they want change. They're not satisfied with where we are in the country. They want, a different economic reality. He's promising all of this, promising that we're going to, have an economy that is just going to be the greatest in the world. And we're going to bring back, jobs that were lost to globalization and all the rest of it. So
all the MAGA cult members don't like Hillary because she's what represents a real, strong, intelligent, beautiful woman. And MAGA cult members can't handle that.
I really did understand the appeal to that. And as I campaigned throughout that, year and a half or so against him, it was something that, I was aware of and I respected, because people were feeling that, it's hard to succeed a two-term president of your own party. I knew that going into it. And, people liked and respected President Obama, but, they wanted something that might be a little different. And
A little different.
What?
A little different.
Yeah, a little different, but they didn't know how different at the time. And so I really think that his followers, the ones I would put into the category of, believing his promises, thinking he could, number one, thinking he could help them, but number two, that he cared about them, neither of which I think was really true. But, people wanted to hang on to that. And I believe that kind of continued into his first term. The way he handled COVID is the reason I believe he lost.
Hey, what up? What up, Dan Fries? How you doing? Yeah, I was just checking out current events that have been happening. We checked out Donald Trump's speeches that he had over there at the G7 summit that he had today. We checked out like an Obama speech he did today, and now we're just checking out Hillary Clinton did this either today or yesterday, so this is pretty fresh.
We think if he had done it,
but it seems like Hillary brings out all the MAGA no-life cult members.
better job handling COVID, because remember, he got more votes the second time when he was running against Joe Biden. And Biden, of course, got the most votes anybody's ever gotten, I think, still for president. But the people who were following him, COVID scared them, put them off. They might have, thought, wait a minute, I can't vote for that. Joe Biden in that first 2020 campaign ran on, restoring the soul of the nation and all. I don't know how effective that was, but it had a theme that he, certainly used effectively. And then when Trump ran again, there was such a set of circumstances that led to him being elected in 2024 that were, pretty unprecedented. But again, people voted for him, believing that he would get inflation down and believing that he would, give them a better deal economically.
I don't want to jump.
Yeah, that's why I don't mind the MAGA cult members hanging out, because obviously if anyone spams, I give them a 10-second timeout. But other than that, we got free speech over here. But if somebody gets on your nerves, you can always just personally block them. But either way, we're all just, shits and giggles until someone giggles and shits kind of stream. And, but yeah.
Too far ahead, but I think it's fair to say that so far J.D. Vance has not covered himself in glory. And Marco Rubio probably doesn't appeal to the base with quite the same.
But yeah, that's the thing about the MAGA cult members. The more they hang out and listen to this, the more chances we have of reprogramming them so they can see the truth. And we've already saved, like, I'd say about 10,000 MAGA cult members in the last month. So pat yourselves on the back to everyone in here that never has and never will drink the Kool-Aid. And for all you MAGA cult members, thanks for the laughs.
Stick-to-itiveness of Trump himself. And I wonder if you think it's possible, and I think maybe this has run through your head, that the Trump family has dynastic ambitions, whether it's Donald Jr. or someone in the family who might pretend to succeed him.
Well, David, you and I think alike.
Hey, what's up, Candy? Yeah, that's why I like having these YouTubeville watch parties, because at the end of the day, we all got some steam to let out, so, we all want to be heard and we all want to hear what everyone has to say, so in a way it's beneficial to everyone, get out whatever's on your chest, so it's all good.
I think number one, if he could figure out a way to stay, he would. My husband likes to say, if he tries to stay, I'm running again. But if that's unlikely, which we have to hope it is, I don't get the feeling he's all warm and fuzzy about JD Vance. I don't think he is warm and fuzzy about nearly it.
Yeah, I like Hillary right here. I gotta rewind it 10 seconds. But yeah, I've noticed that JD Vance hasn't been accompanying Trump. I think they're having some kind of a lover's quarrel. And as Hillary says, he's not feeling very fuzzy about him.
I don't get the feeling he's all warm and fuzzy about JD Vance. I don't think he is warm and fuzzy about nearly anybody other than himself, and who is closest enough to him.
Yeah, Trump's only warm and fuzzy about himself.
That is possibly a son or a daughter.
A son or a daughter.
A son or a daughter.
And the daughter is thought to be cleverer than the son.
Well, I'm not going to characterize them. It's the blood relationship that matters.
Understood.
So, look, I mean, we're speculating.
Oh yeah, what up, Dan? Yeah, I heard JD Vance made a cameo on The View. I haven't seen it or any clips of it. But
you know, we know something which we don't. I'm not hanging out Mar-a-Lago and sort of picking up the, breadcrumbs of gossip.
Yeah.
But I think that
I think you'd like it.
Yeah, but given his psychology, given Trump's psychology, he definitely, if he can't do it himself, he wants somebody.
yeah, I've never watched The View once in my life. I think my mom used to watch that. I think when it first came out. I think The View's been around for 20 years. But if I see that JD Vance View thing pop up as I'm scrolling, I'll probably click on it.
In control. And preferably somebody related to him. And that would be, I think, his hope.
You've watched Trump over a long period of time. You've debated him 3 times. You've observed him very carefully, obviously. Is he disintegrated? He just turned 80.
I think he is certainly not what he was. He doesn't.
Oh yeah, I heard Peter Thiel scurried away to Argentina.
Doesn't come across, at least in the way that he presents himself, with as much energy. Falls asleep in lots of public meetings. I mean, poor Joe Biden. I mean, shut his eyes, once or twice. But Donald Trump is falling asleep all the time these days. But part of that is he stays up all night posting on Truth Social. So he's not getting enough sleep anyway, which is pretty disturbing because I don't think people who are sleep deprived make good decisions on top of everything else. But I really think he has a number of traits that have gotten, more obvious. He doesn't even try to hide them. His impulsivity, his immaturity, his lack of curiosity about anything going on around him. That when he launched the war against Iran, and then out of the White House you hear that nobody told me about the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, nobody told me.
I bet if Hillary Trump beat Trump 1.0, we probably would have never had COVID if Hillary was president instead of Trump.
They could close the Strait of Hormuz. Where is the Strait of Hormuz? You can't make it up. It's like some movie that you walk out of because it's so outlandish.
Dr.
Right?
Strangelove.
Yeah, exactly.
We're talking on a day where the United States and Iran seem to have signed an agreement to end, at least for now, this war. Did the United States lose this war?
Yes. The United States has come out weaker. Iran has come out stronger. It's not even an agreement. It's a memorandum of understanding, which we haven't even seen the details of. The little bit we know, is that the strait, which was open without either tolls or fees, was closed, and under this memorandum, it will be reopened, although there may still be a desire by Iran to charge, quote, fees, which will have to be dealt with. The ballistic missile system seems to be at least, if not totally intact because of a bombardment during the course of this, certainly still operative. There is no nuclear deal. There is no agreement on controlling proxies. And what I've read is that there may be a huge transfer of money for reconstruction to Iran. Now, I started the negotiations that led to the JCPOA, the agreement that President Obama eventually signed. It was an intensive diplomatic effort. We started by getting the UN Security Council to impose sanctions, global sanctions on Iran in June of 2010. We then, worked to get secret negotiations started through Oman. And those began with several meetings and with a plan about going forward, and which I handed off to my successor, John Kerry. But these were serious negotiations with high-level people. So when we sat across the table from Iranians, we had our own nuclear physicists there, as did they. We had experienced diplomats, people who had negotiated on many different fronts for many years. That's not the way this administration does its business. And so I think we have come out weaker. We've caused a lot of both confusion and
Russell thinks Trump cares about him, LOL.
I think some distrust in the larger region about what our goals were and what our staying power is. So I believe until we see the agreement, which allegedly will be signed on Friday in Geneva, we don't know what's in it, and we don't know what's left out of it, and we don't know, how it's going to be spun, but it doesn't seem to me that it's going to be an effective maneuver by Trump to claim some kind of victory.
The United States doesn't send bombers to Iran because anybody else commands it to, but it's very clear that Bibi Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, pushed Donald Trump to do this. We have an account by Maggie Haberman in the Times about meetings in the Situation Room in which, I think quite unusual,
they were having, it's just been uncovered from leaked documents that they were having meetings in the Situation Room about the Trumpstein files cover-up.
Foreign head of state urged the President of the United States to go to war with it against a third party, against Iran. It's my understanding that when you were Secretary of State, Bibi Netanyahu made the same case. Tell me about that.
Well, you're absolutely right. When I was secretary, it was a constant, theme by Netanyahu and his then government, the then defense minister, Ehud Barak, the former prime minister. It was relentless. It was a constant push. I remember.
What would he say to you?
What?
What would he say to you?
He would basically say, you need to support us in attacking Iran. And back then, this was, 2009 to the end of 2012, we had more capacity than Israel did on several fronts to do that. And so there was a constant argument that we would have. And I remember one day, I was on the phone for hours with Ehud, with Bibi, with others, and they would say things like, our planes are on the tarmac. And I'd say, well, good luck. I mean, great. Why are you doing this?
Where else would planes be other than in the air?
But on the tarmac, ready to take
I see.
off. Yes. Well, they'd be in the hangar. They were on the tarmac. And you know, you would say things.
You're saying you were being played
all the time. I mean,
by an ally that receives an enormous amount of aid.
well, of course. And look, Bibi's been obsessed as long as I've dealt with him with two things: Iran, as you know.
Yeah, somebody made a compilation video of Bibi over the last like 40 years of like clips from various news sources over the last 40 years of Bibi always saying like something like Iran's this close to having like a weapon. Iran's this close.
And his desire to normalize relations with Saudi Arabia. The first formal meeting I had with him in 2009, probably March, at the State Department, it was absolutely, you know, how can we get normalization with Saudi Arabia and how do we totally decapitate Iran? And he had this view that I think has become very clear in his, you know, dealings with Trump. Number one, decapitate the regime, it will fall. Number two, do enough bombing against enough critical infrastructure, try to, you know, disable the military insofar as possible, the people will rise up. And that was just never our read about what was going to happen, in part because this is a ruthless, theocratic regime that at least at the top levels, the clerical level, has a kind of apocalyptic view of their own importance in the struggle against Israel, the United States, the West, their Sunni neighbors, you know, the whole map that they look at. And they...
I mean, back in like 1953, the U.S. government went in there and they overthrew their government for like oil.
Also a regime that learned, sadly, a lesson from the overthrow of the Shah. There's a lot of, you know, analysis about why the Shah was finally deposed, but one of the arguments is at the end, he would not murder his people. He would not order the mass murder of the demonstrators in the street. This regime has no such compunction. Mm-hmm. So if you have a regime that has already proven, as it did last year, they were willing to kill 40,000 Iranians over the protests that were going on. If you have this alliance between the clerics and the military, they have enough folks in their ranks to keep moving up and taking over. Our take on Iran was absent an effective armed opposition, which we've never seen, and absent some kind of internal dissent, whether like a general who would say, I'm not going to tolerate, you know, this any longer.
And not the Shah's son sitting in Virginia or
Well,
Paris.
you know, I give him credit for being a voice for the aspirations of some of the Iranian people. I do give him credit. He's tried to fill a role that you cannot fill from sitting in Virginia or wherever, but he at least tried to voice the legitimate
You know what I've noticed in these MAGA cult member sleeper cell atmospheres in these comment sections across all social medias? There's one of the words that they always say, one of the words that they say that you can always tell right away that they're a MAGA cult member is when they say you people. Whenever you see someone saying the word you people, beginning with whatever they're going to say, they're automatically already a MAGA orange bollock and meat rider.
intent of the Iranian people. But this regime is not, you know, they're not going to be toppled by, you know, appeals to their humanity, to their, you know, the angels of their, you know, better nature. No, I mean, they are there to stay in power and to promote a, you know, very clear political religious agenda.
So if I hear what you're saying correctly, is number one, Bibi Netanyahu bamboozled Donald Trump. And number two,
Yeah, exactly. Bibi bamboozled Trump. There it is right there too on the closed caption. Bibi Netanyahu bamboozled Donald Trump.
I don't imagine the intelligence changed radically about the state of play in Iran, that the president ignored not only the advice of his vice president and secretary of state, but the intelligence community telling him on the ground this would be a terrible idea.
Well, I can't speak to that. I don't know what was presented to him. You know, I also think coming off the attacks of last June, which I supported the very specific surgical attacks on the known nuclear weapons sites.
Mm-hmm.
I believed that that was a clear mission with very achievable goals. I didn't know whether you could eliminate the program, but I thought you could certainly.
Yeah, I think I gotta drain the swamp real quick and raise the IQ level in the chat. What do you guys think? Should we let Terry and Rackstar stick around, or keep on with their spamming?
It back. So I think coming off that, which was, you know, from their perspective successful,
Wouldn't it have been better to stick with the JCPOA and renegotiate an extension?
well, 1,000%, David. And if you suppose Trump had said the following, you know, because when you are negotiating, you are your strongest threatening military action, not actually taking it. And suppose, you know, Trump back in his first term had said, I'm not satisfied with this agreement.
All right. We'll let Terry and Rackstar stick around. We do got freedom of speech over here, guys. But Terry and Rackstar, man, can you guys just like maybe like a second?
There were, you know, it wasn't perfect. And, you know, I'm sure there are people in this audience that didn't support it. But it was the best deal we could get to put a lid on the nuclear program. It didn't deal with the ballistic missiles. It didn't deal with the proxies. So if Trump had said, there are things about it I don't like, and I'm going to walk away from it unless we open up negotiations. And I believe that we need to open up negotiations because otherwise, you know, I might be forced to take action. That then gives you the pressure and the room to try to do something. That's not what he did. He said, you know, Barack Obama did it. I'm out. We're withdrawing.
Let's stay in the same region for a moment. I know that you're for a two-state solution and see it as the only outcome that any kind of peace can exist for. But if I look at the Israeli polity, they don't want a two-state solution, certainly not now. And if you look at the Palestinian polity, which is even more complicated.
Well, good news is all the MAGA communist cult members are jumping ship. They're finally seeing Donald Trump for the con man and the fraud man that he is.
Set of geographies and population. Two-state solution is not anywhere near the offing there. So other than, you know, some constituents, now it's diminishing in the West and elsewhere, a two-state solution, which was fought for so hard, but began going out the window many years ago, seems impossible. Am I wrong?
You might be, but you might not be. And here's why. I'm going to say something positive about Trump. So hold on.
Okay. I've got a grip on my chair right now.
Trump's 20-point plan for Gaza is actually a pathway to security for Israel, reconstruction for Gaza, and the possibility of self-determination, however defined, for the Palestinians. There are a lot of people who, reject it because Trump did it, but it's the only game in town. There's nothing else. And I've engaged in some, kind of track 2 diplomacy with Israelis, not in the current government, former governments, military, intelligence, political officials, Palestinians, Arabs. So it's a very painful discussion.
Oh yeah, Donald Trump was saying he wanted to drop a nuclear bomb and wipe him off the face of the earth. Guy's a lunatic madman. He lost all his marbles, and he never even had any to begin with.
Because these are experienced people with lots of scars to show for their efforts over many years, not just on peace, but on security, particularly for Israel. But I really believe if we...
Hey, what's up, Amber Leslie? Yeah, for sure, exactly.
This 20-point plan, which starts with, the disarmament of Hamas, a huge, important step yet to be accomplished, but took all of the 20 points so that it wasn't just disarm Hamas.
What's up, Almost High?
Maybe do some reconstruction and, build some
hotels,
resorts on the coast. But if you really took the whole approach that is embodied in that 20-point plan, and I know there are people who are working to try to move forward on that, there is a glimmer of a possible path forward. Now, having said that, you are dealing with two peoples that are even more traumatized than perhaps has happened in the past. I think you had Rachel Goldberg-Pollan on your podcast last week, and I met her during the time when I was trying to help and support families who were advocating to get the hostages back. And it's, she writes this very moving, profoundly sad book about her son Hirsch.
And we've had Mohammed Mawish and Mossab Al-Butto, who lost multiple members of their
and I've met with them as well. And
did the Biden administration fail to push hard against the Netanyahu government? Did it give too free a rein to the Israeli government during the
I think it's a very, very hard question to answer for this reason. As I said, October 7th was a mass trauma event. Clearly, the people who were murdered, the families who lost loved ones, the hostages, 250.
I mean, what about all the Palestinians, though, that have been getting genocided for like years now? Their communities in rubble.
Plus, who were taken into Gaza. It was a long, terrible trauma. And what I said to my class at Columbia after October 7th is you have to keep competing thoughts in your head.
100%. But Biden came to Israel, and the wisest thing, it seems to me, that he said was,
I think all the U.S. presidents kissed the wall.
I feel your pain. I understand how horrible this is. We support you, but at the same time, do not repeat our mistakes and act out of prolonged vengeance. He was obviously referring to Afghanistan and even more so to Iraq, the misadventures there, to say the least, and the damage they did and the lives lost there. And I think a lot of people would say that it's exactly what Israel went ahead and did by such a prolonged war, and that the United States and the Biden administration and later the Trump administration did very little to put a pause to it.
I think that, and I wasn't there. I don't know what the internal discussions were, but every time what I would hear every time, especially while the hostages were still being held, every time there was a push against Israel to change tactics, to avoid certain targets, the response would be, we know that there are tunnels. We know there are something like 350 miles of tunnels. We know that they can be entered through a lot of these sites. And, it's very difficult to refute that because we know that there were tunnels and we know that numbers of them entered into hospitals and schools and all kinds of civilian places. Could and should the Israelis have been?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of listening to Hillary talking about Israel right now. Let me see. Let's forward a little bit. See if she starts talking about Trump again.
Israeli strength. He never apologized for October 7th, never took responsibility.
Yeah, they're still talking about that. Let's forward it more.
And so to be creating a tinder box of potential uprising in the West Bank while you're fighting.
All right, so that's Hillary Clinton right there. If anyone wants to watch that in full, you can find it. If you search Hillary Clinton discusses Trump. I can only listen to so much of her. Even though she's a good guy, it's like all these politicians. That's the difference between us like non-cult members and the cult members. Like us like non-cult members, like, we'll hold all these mofos accountable. But the MAGA cult members, like, they think their orange god can do no wrong, so they don't even call him out on his BS, But anywho, let's go see what Adam Schiff has to say.
Madam President.
They're from California.
All right, this is Adam Schiff today from the Capitol Hill. This just came out 4 hours ago. This is titled Schiff Dismantles Trump's Deal to Make a Deal with Iran. So it looks like Adam Schiff's going to break down all Trump's lies real quick.
Madam President, 3 weeks ago, this body voted to have a debate over the president's war in Iran. More specifically, whether the United States Congress should exercise its constitutional authority to declare war or to bring this conflict to an end. Since that time, the administration has announced that it has reached a deal with Iran to reopen the strait, with an agreement to reach an agreement later over Iran's nuclear weapons. The president has made it clear that should Iran not agree to a deal over its nuclear program within 60 days, he will resume bombing. I sincerely hope that this is the beginning of the end of the war and that our service members will soon be coming home. But a still secret agreement that postpones the difficult questions for 2 more months is little assurance when the president has so often during this conflict promised far more than he has delivered. From the beginning, the president assured the country that the war would be short and it would be over very soon. Just weeks after the conflict began, around 100 days ago, the president said that U.S. forces would be leaving in the near future. He said talks were going very well and very, very soon the conflict would be over. I think we won, he said. That last was on the last day of winter. This weekend will mark the first day of summer. This entire spring, the American public have stepped into the shoes of Charlie Brown, constantly being told that the football will not move, that the end is near, only to have peace snatched away time and time again. And so in this moment, Congress cannot accept a vague promise of a future end to the war as a substitute for the very definite terms of the War Powers Act. The president should come to Congress for our authorization to keep troops deployed to the war zone or bring them home. Those are the only 2 choices the law provides. After all, this war began without the administration making the case to Congress or the American people. There was no attack on the United States by Iran, nor was there any imminent threat. This was a war of choice, and it was chosen by the president. In the months since, the administration's rationale for the war has shifted many times over time, with the president and his cabinet alternately claiming an imminent threat from Iran's nuclear program
which they also claimed had been obliterated by an attack by the US 9 months earlier, claiming an imminent threat of a missile attack by Iran on our homeland, which the US intelligence community concluded was in fact 9 years away, claiming this was the best opportunity for the Iranian people to rise up against the regime, then saying they would get mowed down if they did, with more vacillating, inconsistent, and implausible justifications for the war given every week. And now we have little more than a deal to make a deal. Initially, the agreement seeks to rebuild.
Hey, what up, Dan Fries? You got it.
Quote that this war shattered by reopening the strait. But even this preliminary agreement is contested, with the president saying Iran won't charge any tolls, but with Iran saying it may charge fees for the crossing. And the future deal on nuclear weapons, although still very much a work in progress, appears little different than the agreement that President Obama negotiated and Trump disavowed. Although the present deal seems far better for Iran than that deal, since Iran may receive 10 times the billions it did under the Obama JCPOA, and also be a party to a $300 billion reconstruction fund. Imagine that. You paid $60 billion more for gas during the war, and those billions you paid at the pump are going to go to Iran for rebuilding. High gas prices are just one of the costs that have been borne by the American people over these 100 days. The region has been in chaos.
What up? What up, Iron Fuse? Now this is a live stream we're watching right now, but this Adam Schiff happened 4 hours ago, so it happened today, nonetheless. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm watching it for my first time.
Along with global shipping, as a result, the price of Americans' grocery bills has been much higher. The cost of fertilizer for farmers much higher. The price of energy bill is higher to heat up.
I just figured, I'm watching this stuff anyway, so might as well live stream it to have a little YouTubeville watch party so we can all interact and share our opinions. Have some friendly banter discussion.
Winter, and to keep it cool in summer, everything is going up, 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 except the incomes of the American people. And most significantly, American service members' lives have been lost. That has been the most terrible price of this war. Americans wanted a president who would bring down their cost of living, lighten their economic load, deliver a better future for their children, address their rising rents, their inability to afford childcare, their difficulty getting a health plan or a good education without breaking the bank, to address their anxiety when the fridge runs empty or the gas light comes on. But this president did the exact opposite. And now we are told that Iran, not the US taxpayers who footed the bill for all of this, may be set to receive $24 billion in sanctions relief and another $300 billion in reconstruction, reparations, or investment. This war of choice was brought to America by a president who promised no more foreign wars, no more Middle East wars, no more regime change wars. Someone who said on election night to the entire world, I'm not going to start a new war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. But now says, I didn't guarantee no war, and that he didn't build such a powerful military for nothing. So let's look at the record of this president who promised no more wars, and that he would focus on the problems of Americans here at home. 200 people killed in boat strikes in the Eastern Pacific and Caribbean Sea, with more strikes every week. An attack on Venezuela, capturing President Maduro and now leaving in power his corrupt second in command, long past the time when that country's constitution demands a new election. And the country's rightful president, the winner of Venezuela's last election, is relegated to the sidelines. little more than an afterthought. And now the stationing of American military right off of Cuba, blockading that country and indicting its leaders. The war in Iran is far from over, and the president seems to be promising another one when it is, saying with respect to Cuba, he likes to do things one at a time. We have in this moment an opportunity to show the president and the country that we are listening to our constituents, that we hear their concerns, that we will do our job to make their voices heard, to bring down the cost of living and address the difficulties they find in just making a go of it. We have a responsibility to uphold what our founding fathers gave us, a constitution that provided Congress with the power to make war, not the president. We can bring our troops home, and we can return our attention to our difficulties at home and rein in a president that has now become all too fond of war. We have found a majority to carry this motion once before. We can do so again. The American people are counting on us to send this resolution to the Oval Office with bipartisan support and to end this war of choice once and for all. Our constituents cannot afford to risk another 100 days of war. And if we are to be more than a constitutional appendage, neither can we. I yield back.
All right, so that was Adam Schiff right there. But yeah, even like the MAGA politicians are voting yes to the War Powers Resolution Act. I mean, I guess Trump can veto it, but it sends a message that, yo, Trump, you're not a very popular guy around here, buddy. But yeah, I would imagine. I mean, all the MAGA cult members, I'd be furious. I mean, their Lord in Chief has pretty much like lied to them about no new wars and releasing the Trumpstein files. Let's check out Kamala real quick, see what she's got to say. So I haven't seen this either. This came out earlier today. This is titled Kamala Harris asks point blank, if you were president, does that war with Iran even happen? All right, let's check this out. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger's in this too.
It's because of the war with Iran, which has been one of the biggest. Well, gas has not been cheaper for a lot of people this year because of the war with Iran, which has been one of the biggest energy stories of the year. First off, if you were president, does that war even happen?
So are we going to have this conversation? I'm happy to.
Sure. Yeah.
First of all, this is a war the American people didn't.
But yeah, the Democrats better not try to run her out for 2028. That'll be I don't know. I don't think that'll be good. A wise move. They need to throw out like Gavin Newsom out there, Jamie Raskin, and Mark Kelly.
This is a war of choice. This is a president who has proven himself to be entirely self-indulgent. And we will see what happens in the coming hours and days in terms of the negotiation. And really, it's a concept of an agreement.
I have no idea. I think they're all waiting for like the midterms to see how the midterms go. But I mean, obviously, it's going to be a blue wave tsunami. We're going to take back the House. We're already just getting racking up all these W's left and right since like Mamdani took office. But I think until it actually like happens, that's when you'll see like Gavin Newsom come out saying like he's running 2028 or something. But who knows? But I did hear that she wants to make a run at 2028 again. But we'll just have to take it one step at a time, see what happens during the midterms.
There's no question that there's a direct correlation between this war of choice and what has happened in terms of gas prices.
I mean, all anyone can do really at this point is just do your research and just don't vote for any MAGA loyalist politicians.
estimated the average American has spent since the war started $500 more because of this war. And I will add to that number to put it in context. The average American is $400 away from bankruptcy for any unexpected expense. So $400 of an unexpected expense could result in bankruptcy for the average American. And this war has resulted in $500 more of expenses, a large part of that because of the gas prices going up.
But to be clear, if you were president, you never start this war.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And let's be clear about this. Let's be clear about this. Thank you, Tim. Let's be clear about this. Whatever is being negotiated, this president is going to declare victory and will end up where we were after the JCPOA and call that a victory, the JCPOA that he withdrew from.
The Obama nuclear agreement. And so you're not, well, I mean, that's your thought on this potential
Well,
deal
I
this
have
week?
more thoughts, but that's not why we're here.
Yeah, sure.
So
Look, to that point though, on what we've seen on the climate aspect in terms of this war, Governor, the Trump administration has used that and said, we're going to invoke the Defense Production Act because of there has not been enough oil coming out of the Strait of Hormuz, and have started to increase oil production in places like California because of it, and are now looking seriously at oil drilling in California because of it. Your response?
Check it out, guys. It's the Terminator. Man, growing up as a kid, though, Arnold Schwarzenegger was the man. We had Terminator, Kindergarten Cop, Twins, Predator, Commando. He was in all the big hits. The movie Eraser. You have been erased. That's what's gonna happen to Trump in the midterms. You have been erased.
That and sort of the argument that some on the conservative side said that shows that this is the importance to invest in coal and old school energy.
Well, first of all, let me just say that the current administration is pushing very hard for coal energy. So clearly they live in the past because the people are way ahead of them. This last month, for the first time, renewable energy from solar has surpassed the energy from coal. So it's for the first time ever that this happened in the United States. So just think about that. Even though that Trump and his administration is pushing for coal, electricity now from renewable energy from solar has surpassed coal. So this is the future. That's why I said here earlier, it doesn't matter who is in the White House.
Nice. Schwarzenegger's a Republican, and even he says that Trump's, what does Trump call it? Clean, beautiful coal? Is bogus.
Going to move forward. We are unstoppable. This is we are going in the right direction because the people have learned in the meantime that coal is a big polluter and no one wants to be part of the 7 million people that die every year because of pollution. So it doesn't matter. Now, when it comes to drilling oil, I mean, I believe that we should rather build, create a law that says that you have to have solar panels on every warehouse in California. Because when you fly around with a helicopter in California, you will see millions and millions and millions of square feet of rooftops of warehouses that could have solar and produce a lot of energy, much more than the oil ever will. And it is clean. So this is the direction I would go. But I have to say, thank you. But I have to say that, California is making some major mistakes in policy-wise because they make fuel very expensive. So our fuel is around $2 per gallon more than the average in the United States. And the reason is because the Californian legislators somehow feel like they don't want to have a refinery in California. So the refineries now go to Texas. So now you have to go and ship all the oil to Texas, then you do the refining, and then you go and ship it back again. Well, what do you think what happens when you ship? That creates pollution. So it is absolutely contradictory to what they believe in. So they're a little confused, which is not unusual with legislators, may I remind you. Okay, so, but I mean, the bottom line is, I think that it needs the leadership to kind of bring kind of coherency in there and to just say, this is the direction we go. There's a lot of things like that we can do. And
now that Arnold came out with these facts against Trump, MAGA cult members are going to try to cancel culture Arnold. LOL. They're like, oh, I'm not going to watch Predator anymore. Arnold is against the Donald Trump's clean, beautiful coal, so I can't watch the Terminator anymore.
The will is there. California is for the environment. We are leading in the environment. We've been the first ones to pass the strict.
Get to the chopper. That's hilarious. But yeah, guys, it's been stimulating, folks. But I'm gonna get my step on and enjoy the rest of the day. It's been fun hanging out, shooting the poop, as they say. But thanks for everyone that voted. Let's see here, who voted here? We got almost 1,500 votes, and the question was, is Donald Trump Iran war a failure? And the American people have spoken. So 61% say that, yep, Donald Trump's Iran war is a failure. His illegal Iran war, I might add. Just like everything else Trump does. But come midterms, we'll take back the Senate and the House. We'll go to all those red states, clean them up, bring back some law and order. And life will be the hottest country again since Biden. But yeah, thanks for everyone that hung out. Appreciate it. Let's see here. All right, you guys all have a good rest of your day. See you later. Almost high. Let's see. Hey, Just Mona, see you later. Let's see here. Gotta scroll past these MAGA cult members. What's up, Chris Holmes? News Troll. And all you MAGA cult members, thanks for the laughs. And everyone in here that has a brain, never has and never will drink the Kool-Aid, pat yourselves on the backs for having a soul and a heart. So we'll catch you guys all later. Probably there was a hearing that popped up. I'll probably post up later and check it out with YouTubeville. So see you guys all later. All right, peace out. I'll go walk my dog.